and it can tell you a lot about the emotions that you might be suppressing. And the great thing about it is that when you go through this journey of healing your relationship with food, you might also heal your relationship with your emotions through the process, or at least embark on that journey. It's important when we're vulnerable to really care for those emotions, okay? And with eating disorders, it's usually the opposite, where we have these negative emotions and then we suppress them because we feel as though they are unworthy of being seen or of being cared for. My name's Simone, and I'm going to be talking about how to heal your relationship with food, because it is one of the most important relationships that you will have in your whole life. Okay, so first I'm going to go over why it's so important, because having a good relationship with food makes you feel better. It makes you feel better as a person, as a friend, as a girlfriend, as a wife, whatever your role in life may be. It fuels you. Food is fuel, okay? And you have to remember that through this journey of healing your relationship with food, that it is meant to work for you, not against you. It's meant to work for you. It's also very important because your relationship with food can tell you a lot about who you are underneath the surface. And it can tell you a lot about the emotions that you might be suppressing. And the great thing about it is that when you go through this journey of healing your relationship with food, you might also heal your relationship with your emotions through the process, or at least embark on that journey, which is also a very, very crucial relationship to have throughout your whole life, because the relationship you have with your emotions will be similar to the relationship that you have with your friends, and how you show up for them, how you show up for yourself. So it's important when we're vulnerable to really care for those emotions, okay? And with eating disorders, it's usually the opposite, where we have these negative emotions and then we suppress them because we feel as though they are unworthy of being seen or of being cared for. So really, what I'm going to be talking about in this video is just how to heal your relationship with food. And along the way, you'll heal your relationship with your emotions too. So let's get into it. What is an eating disorder? Well, if you are watching this because you think you might have one, certain behaviors may manifest as restricting your diet because you think you don't deserve to eat, or eating too much and you feel out of control. I want to mention that control and the feeling of it plays a huge role in eating disorders. And whether you feel like you are giving it up, typically with binge eating, like you feel a release when you do it and you feel like you're just relinquishing it unintentionally, of course. Or whether it's with anorexia, where you feel like you need to really grab onto it and you need to have that control to make you feel strong. So there are other ways that eating disorders can manifest, like throwing up or working out excessively to burn off extra calories that you eat. But regardless of what it is, the eating disorder usually has to do with control, and it also has to do with a feeling of low self-worth. Okay, so some thoughts that people with eating disorders might have about themselves are, I'm not good enough, no one likes me, people will only like me when I reach this weight, and things along the lines of that, where we are assuming that people don't like us and that we are not worthy of being liked or just having a normal human experience in the world. Okay, so now that I've gone over what eating disorders are and why it's important to heal your relationship with food, and even if you don't have an eating disorder but you would like to have a better relationship with food, you could still watch this video. It will still apply to you. So I'm going to break this down into steps, because it is very much a process in healing your relationship with food, because like I said in the beginning, it's deeper than that, okay? So let's go over step number 1, and that is to address your eating patterns. So whether it's throwing up after you eat, or binge eating, or restricting your diet, or starving yourself, or working out too much, whichever one of those patterns it is, identify that, okay? Because that will be your first step. The second step, number 2, is to catch yourself when you have that urge, when you have the urge to starve yourself, when you have the urge to binge. Ask yourself a couple questions, okay? You are going to ask how you feel about yourself in that moment and how you think about yourself in that moment. These are when the negative beliefs come into play, okay? And then you're also going to ask yourself what happened to make you feel that way. What was the trigger? Was it something that happened in your real life right now, or was it something that you were reflecting back on in the past that happened to you? That might have been a traumatic experience. Just become really curious and really open to what is making you feel this way, because it is a feeling. And rather than acting on that urge, you are going to sit down at a desk or sit down anywhere and either journal or write down in your notes about what it is. Because what is this urge? It's not just what it seems at the superficial level. It's deeper. It's a lot deeper than that. So when you can become curious and you can open your mind up to that, then your relationship with food is already on its journey to healing, okay? So that was step number 2. And step number 3 is to accept and acknowledge these emotions that you're having when you have these urges, okay? A lot of the emotions that we might have are typically what people call negative emotions, like sadness or grief or anxiety. And the truth is, there's no such thing as a negative emotion, but the reason why people think of them as negative is because they don't feel good. They don't feel good for our body, for our mind, for our self-worth. And most of the time, it's honestly because we are taught to avoid those feelings and we are taught to shame them, when really they just need to be seen and they just need to be cared for. And a lot of the times when we don't care for those emotions, they turn into eating disorders or some other type of unhealthy behavior. So what you can do is think about your best friend for a moment. Just think about your bestie or a close family member that you love, like you absolutely love them, you would do anything for them, and they would do anything for you. Just think about them for a second. Okay, now that you have them in your head, I want you to think about them being so sad. And they're so beat down because something horrible happened to them. Something horrible happened to them. They're so sad and they need you right now. They need you. They need to be heard. They need to be hugged. They need to be seen. What are you going to do about that? Are you going to avoid them? Are you going to just push them to the side and be like, no thanks, you could handle this on your own? No. Unless you're a terrible friend, you won't do that to your bestie. Or someone that you love very much, you won't do that. You are going to care for them and you are going to make sure that they know that they are being heard right now. No matter how much they're hurting, you're going to stay strong for them, okay? And likewise with those besties, you are going to pretend your emotions that you're having are your besties. No matter how negative that you think they are yours. And they are a part of you. And you have to care for them. You have to at least acknowledge them, because when they are not acknowledged, they're just going to come back up into your life and manifest in a bunch of different ways. And when you shove them down, that just teaches you that you feel ashamed about them, that you don't want them to be seen. So really just see them, see what they are. And what you can do if you are not familiar with a lot of emotions is that you can simply look up on Google a photo of an emotion wheel, and it tells you a bunch of primary emotions as the first level and then secondary emotions as the second level. And it's just a wheel that gives you insight into what it is you're really feeling. And when you know what you're feeling, it's like when you really accept these emotions, it's a two-way street where you both feel like you can trust one another. On one hand, your emotions feel like they can trust you to be taken care of, to be heard. And on your hand, you feel like you can trust your emotions not to bring you down, and they will actually lift you up higher. Because why? Because you are getting to know yourself better. Okay? So this is definitely a harder part of the process because of how we are taught, or not taught, I should say, to accept our negative emotions. And we are just taught to push them to the side because we're not even taught at all how to deal with them. People kind of just say, oh well, and that's it. But no, not oh well, okay? We are going to take care of our emotions. That is step 3. Step 4, this is step 4, is kind of similar to that. So step 4 is going to be about those negative beliefs. What you are going to do is reframe those negative beliefs that you have about yourself when you have the urge to take part in whatever eating habit it is that is you. That is not you, but that you take part in. Oh my God. So you are going to reframe that negative belief. So let's say someone's really stressed out at work one day, and I apologize if you hear this noise in the background, but let's say someone's really stressed out at work one day. They have a project that they have to get done, the deadline is coming up, and they just don't think that they could do it. They're just like, oh my God, I freaking can't. And they start saying, I suck, why was I picked for this job? They should have known, they should have picked better, they don't want me. When you're saying that to yourself, you are telling yourself you are not worthy of whatever it is that you are in right now. And what's really going on, it sounds like you're stressed. And when we're stressed, it's very important to take a step back into reality, because the funny thing about stress is that it doesn't exist. Stress and worry do not exist, because that means that you are either living in the past about something that did happen that you're revisiting constantly, or you are thinking too far ahead in the future. Also, something like you're living in it and it didn't even happen yet. It doesn't exist. It's all in your mind. Isn't that crazy? Looks like I'm topless. No, you guys would love that. But reframing negative beliefs. So let's go back to whatever Michelle was thinking. Just like, oh my God, why was I picked for this job? I suck. Like, they don't like me. And what you're gonna say instead is you are going to say, no, I am good at this job. I was picked for a reason, and I'm going to see that reason out. I'm smart, I'm intelligent, I'm beautiful, I have so much to offer, and they picked me because of that. There were a million other people, a million other candidates, but no, they picked me, and I rule, and I'm going to prove that to them. You are going to say stuff like that. Literally just hype yourself up. Hype yourself up when you feel like shitting on yourself, okay? And just bring yourself back into reality when you're thinking negatively about yourself. When you're thinking those negative thoughts, like Michelle here, just ground yourself in reality and tell yourself what's really happening. Like, no, I'm just super stressed right now. I don't suck, but I'm stressed because I don't think I can get this done. But you know what? I'm gonna take a step back. And you come back to it and you feel even better. You feel ready and you feel re-energized. That's about knowing your boundaries. That's for another video, but that's about knowing your boundaries, knowing when to step back when you need it, especially, and coming back when you feel much more prepared, much more energized. Isn't that what we want? Is to give the best in what it is that we do. You should be wanting to give the best amount of work that you can. And if you can't, that's okay. But take a break. Take a break. Because pushing yourself beyond your limit is no good. It's no good. Okay? So number 4 was reframing negative beliefs about yourself when you have the urge to binge eat. And like I said, you're going to be writing this down like you did with your emotions. Okay? I don't care if you're in the middle of the street walking and you have these negative beliefs or these emotions pop up, you are going to take a second, you're going to find somewhere to just rest on a building or something, and you are going to write this down on your phone. What are you thinking right now? It will probably take you 5 minutes. I kid you not. We think it's a lot longer than it is, but it takes 5 minutes. It will not be a huge bump in your day. So just think about what it is. You don't have to care for them right now. You don't have to do that process, but at least jot it down, because the most important thing is catching those emotions and those negative beliefs. So once you catch them, once you have them in your little net in your phone, your notes app, you caught them, okay? And then you're out to work, and then you're out, and then you could bring them home, and then you could look at all of what you have, and you start to do the processes there. You start to care for your emotions at home or in a private space, and you start to reframe those negative beliefs that you have. So most important thing is definitely catching them when they arrive, okay? And the bright side, look at it as an opportunity. Don't look at it as a negative thing. This is an opportunity for you to become a much better person and a much more loving version of yourself, and a much more accepting version of yourself, and a compassionate version of yourself. And that is most of the time what people with eating disorders really need. They just need someone that they can trust, and they need to know that it's okay to not have control in your life, to not feel like you're in control, because you are in control all the time. You're in control of your thoughts, you're in control of your emotions. Sure, you might not control what emotion pops up or what thought pops up, but you definitely can control how you respond to them. So take that with a huge, huge grain of salt, the biggest one in the freaking shaker, okay? And finally, step number 5 is going to be the physical action of eating healthier and actually eating fulfilling meals, okay? I know some people that only need to eat 2 times a day, or some people eat 3 times a day or 4 times a day based on their activity level. However many times a day you need to eat. When you feel those physical symptoms of hunger, like you feel fatigued, or your body feels fatigued, or your stomach is grumbling, listen to that and actually give your body what it needs in that moment, okay? Just like you do with your emotions need to be heard, and so does your body. So feed it when it needs it, okay? It doesn't make you less of a person for doing that. It makes you more of a person for taking care of yourself. A lot of people don't even have food. So just remember that food is a blessing. It's such a blessing, and it brings the opportunity for you to grow in so many ways, and it wants to nourish you. So just remember that. It's like Mother Nature. Food is like Mother Nature. Good food, not processed food, not McDonald's, not Burger King. Good food will nourish you, and it will heal you, okay? It will heal your body. And a lot of diseases that people have, they're due to their poor habits in eating and always eating junk food. So just think about what a blessing it is that you can make the effort to eat healthy. Okay, also in step number 5, I'm going to add that getting sufficient exercise is so important in healing your relationship with food. And you should aim to get good exercise each day, even if it's just like, I'm not saying yoga isn't hard, but it's easier to do when you roll right out of bed than freaking jumping jacks and going on a sprint. So do something that moves your body every day and that makes you feel like energized. So I would say at least strive for 30 minutes a day. You could break it up into sections, but at least 30 minutes of exercise every single day, because this actually is good for your body and your brain on a chemical level. It makes you feel better. We were meant to move around. Like, that's why evolution has made us feel good when we exercise, because it wants us to repeat that action. So you can hack this and make yourself feel good just by working out. And also you'll get a killer bod too. So whatever it is that you're doing, make sure you move your body every day. And that's all I have to say. I'm going to go over the 5 steps again. Number 1 is to address your eating pattern. Number 2 is to catch yourself in the moment that you have that urge. Number 3 is to address and accept those emotions that you have. Number 4 is to address and reframe those negative beliefs that you have about yourself. And number 5, the final step of healing your relationship with food is to eat healthy, fulfilling food. Eat healthy food and feel good and exercise every day. That's the 5th step. And that step is really hard to reach, but if you could reach these 4, I will be so proud of you. And your mind and who you are as a person will thank you for doing that, because this journey is not easy by any means. And because it's not easy, it makes you grow so much grit as a person. And it also just teaches you about emotional regulation. And that's such a strong quality to have as a person. A lot of people don't. I still don't. I'm working on it still. But the important thing is to embark on the journey. And I really hope this helped anyone that has any sort of eating disorder or any negative beliefs about themselves, because that's all they are. They're just beliefs. They are literally just beliefs. And the more that you tell yourself those beliefs in your head, the more true they become. And the more you act like that belief, which is why it's so important. Like, that's such a cool thing if you think about it, because you can tell yourself, I'm amazing, I'm great, I'm beautiful, I'm sexy, I'm fit, I love myself. You could tell yourself all of that. It couldn't be true. But if you just keep doing it over and over again, you will start acting out those beliefs. It looks like I'm holding a gun. You will start acting out those beliefs in the real world. So just take advantage of that. And just remember, like I said in the beginning, food is your friend. Food is meant to fuel you. Okay? Thank you so much, you guys, if you watched. I really hope this stuck with at least one person today. And I know this journey is not easy, so really just take care of yourself, be compassionate, and most of all, be willing to be consistently going on this journey, no matter how hard it gets. Find some friends that can support you, or maybe your relationship with God. Find someone that you can lean back on, okay? And eventually that person that you will lean back on will be yourself. So with that being said, take care of you, take care of your bodies, and have a blessed day. Bye, precious.